This is the fastest way to build muscle after 40. If you've ever felt like time was just working against your fitness goals, get ready to defy age and start building the body you've always wanted. Here's the thing. Most people would agree that building muscle is not the easiest thing to do at any age. However, once you've hit your 40s, you probably started to realize that building muscle back in your 20s was incredibly easy in comparison. Now, clearly, it's no secret that muscle growth becomes more difficult as you age, but the important thing to understand is that it's still very much possible. And in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how you can do that, no matter your age. As we grow older, our bodies gradually start to slow down. Much of this decline occurs on a cellular level and is caused by DNA damage and mutations that slowly accumulate with age. With damaged DNA, your body essentially starts losing some of the code that tells it how to regulate and repair itself. For example, mitochondria, which are responsible for powering individual cells, become damaged and stressed over time. This often leads to these mitochondria malfunctioning and becoming defective, which leads the cell to destroy these dysfunctional mitochondria to generate new functional ones in their place. This process, which is known as autophagy, declines with age, leading to these defective mitochondria remaining in the cells and interfering with normal cellular function. Since mitochondria are essentially the powerhouse of most cells in the human body, this decline leads to a decline in the function of the entire body. However, when it comes to muscle growth specifically, there's one very important aging variable that we're gonna focus on in this video, and that's muscle protein turnover. Your body is constantly synthesizing new muscle tissue and breaking down old muscle tissue at the same time. This means that to gain muscle, your body must be synthesizing muscle at a greater rate than it's breaking it down. To boost your muscle protein synthesis rate, you mostly just need to do two things. Eat enough protein and provide your muscles with enough growth stimulus by lifting weights. However, as we age, our bodies become desensitized to the anabolic stimulus that we receive from protein intake and our workouts. This gradual decline in muscle protein synthesis with age is known as anabolic resistance. And most researchers agree that this is the primary reason why it becomes harder to gain and maintain muscle mass at older ages. So if our bodies gradually slow down as we age, how do we continue to put on muscle in our 40s, 50s, and even 60s? Well, as I just explained, it all comes down to ensuring that your muscle protein synthesis rate is always higher than your muscle protein breakdown rate. Unless you have a disease that affects either of these two variables, it's very much possible to continue gaining muscle for decades to come. With that said, to build muscle as fast as possible at these older ages, you're simply going to have to focus on the two main variables that influence muscle protein synthesis: your diet and your physical activity. When it comes to your diet, the most important thing is to maximize your protein intake by consuming roughly 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. You also need to make sure your body has everything that it needs if you want to maximize your growth potential. For example, if you don't eat enough calories, a portion of the protein you consume will just be turned into energy instead of being used to build more muscle. And likewise, without sufficient nutrient intake from vitamins, minerals, and even fats, your body won't have the resources it needs to maintain optimal hormone levels, including the also important testosterone. In addition to providing your body with the energy and resources that it needs to sustain your muscle mass, you also need to provide it with ample stimuli that tell it to grow. I mentioned earlier that this stimulus primarily comes from lifting weights, or more specifically, subjecting your muscle fibers to sufficient tension and stress. While this will undoubtedly be the most important factor when it comes to how much muscle you're able to gain, your workouts should never be your only source of physical activity as you get older. When you're younger, your muscle protein synthesis rate is generally so high that being inactive for most of the day doesn't really have any negative effect on your total muscle mass. However, as this synthesis rate declines with age. Being too sedentary can quickly lead to synthesis rates falling below breakdown rates. After all, the saying, use it or you lose it, is irrefutably true, and a decline in physical activity is one of the leading causes of muscle and strength loss in older adults. Now, just to be clear though, I'm not saying that you need to get rid of your couch and do high knees while you're watching TV if you want to hold on to your hard-earned results from the gym. However, especially if you're at an age where your kids are moving out of the house or you're possibly even contemplating retirement, it can be easy to become less physically active than you're used to being without even realizing it. In this case, you find ways to keep yourself active, whether that means doing yard work, working on a project in your garage that you've been saying you'd finish for the past 2 years, or taking up active hobbies like hiking, biking, pickleball, golf, or another recreational sport. Regardless of how you choose to spend your time, the most important thing is to give your body a reason to continue to function at a high level. And quickly, before I wrap up this video, I typically recommend doing resistance training 4 days per week to give you optimal muscle building stimulus. You can even lower this to 3 days per week if you stay active the other days. Make sure you incorporate compound movements with each of these resistance workouts, like squats, bench presses, back rows, overhead presses. These exercises will ensure you're getting the most out of these workouts. And as you can see by now, building muscle past the age of 40 is not much different than it was back in your 20s, with the only difference really being that it's a slower process. As long as you consistently work out and provide your body with ample resources through a high quality diet, you absolutely will continue to see results from your training. Now, if you wish to see these results as fast as possible, the secret lies in understanding that the poor dieting, extended gym breaks, and lazy weekends that you were able to get away with when you were younger simply aren't going to cut it anymore. Your body is still very much capable of putting on large amounts of muscle mass. It's also capable of losing that muscle mass much faster than it used to. With that said, if you want help transforming your body and unleashing your full potential, then I would love to help you. I have workout programs that can give you an advantage. I have done for you 12-week programs and also have a couple of online coaching options. There are links in the description box below to all these options, so make sure you check those out if you want sustainable, results-driven routines. Thank you so much for watching my video, and as always, get busy, get after it, and God bless.